Happy Monday, everybody. It is Monday, the 15th day of July, 2019. I'm Dan Kuntz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We're back at it for another exciting week of television, well, just TV, I guess is the best way to put it. I can't believe it's already the middle of July. It's the 15th day of July. Summer's just flying by. Of course, summer would really fly by if we actually had one yet. Haven't quite gotten there. It's been a cooler than normal summer, without question. In fact, the long-term forecast for the rest of this month calls for temperatures below normal and precipitation above normal. We just can't seem to break out of this cooler than normal temperatures. It's, for some people, well, me specifically, I'll just speak for myself. I like summertime to be sunny and warm, sometimes hot. That's what summer is, but kind of hasn't happened yet. As a matter of fact, yesterday's high, 85, a couple of degrees below normal. We're supposed to be at 87. For this time of the year for our afternoon high. In fact, 8 of the last 9 days, we have seen our daily high temperature not get to the normal range, and this is going to continue. In fact, we have when we get to the news, we'll talk about the long-term forecast and how it's affecting fires, because we really haven't had much of a fire season, with one notable exception right now. The power line fire is burning down near Mattawa. We'll talk about that when we get to the news, and we do have some news for you on this Monday. Also, sports, a fantabulous weekend for the Wenatchee Apple Sox. Boy, did we have a good time, our crew, on a Saturday night at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium for Marco Gonzalez bobblehead night. It was an exciting game, made for some good TV. And they have a big game tonight, too, as well, a non-league game. We'll talk about that when we get to sports. Also, we have the obscure holiday, today in history, birthdays, and everybody is entitled to Mike McNally's opinion. Second half of the program, Misty, Viebrock, and Jim Fossey from RiverCom 911. They dropped by our studios late last week to pre-record our conversation. Of course, RiverCom's funding, which was last updated and approved by the voters overwhelmingly. That was 10 years ago in 2009, but it had a sunset clause, and that sunset clause expires this year. So they want to keep RiverCom going as the powerful entity and the most important entity that it already is, and they're going to ask you to vote yes on August 6th for the primary election. So a conversation with Misty Viebrock, who runs RiverCom now, and Jim Fossey, who used to run RiverCom. He's now fully retired. Jim retired, Misty took over. We'll have that conversation in the back half of the program. Just about 3 minutes after the hour, with your permission, let's go around the valley with our Valley View cameras, and we say good morning, of course, to the Wenatchee Valley, and there are the clouds again. They're hanging around. A lot of people actually are enjoying this cool summer. They don't like it hot, and I'm all for that. If you like it a little on the cool side, I'm fine with that. But hey, boating and golfing and recreating, I like it sunny and warm. It just hasn't happened yet. But a gorgeous view of the Wenatchee Valley and the Wenatchee and East Wenatchee proper. Sunny Slope way off in the distance. You can see Birch Mountain, you can see Badger Mountain, and you can see that little bump that's sticking out there right below the camera. That is, we'll call that Mount Dan. There, and now it has a name. And the Apple Yard at the very bottom of your screen. Good morning, Wenatchee Valley. From this point forward, it's a guessing game because Megan gets to pick them out, and I don't know what we're going to look at. We're going to look at the Manson Water Tower. Is that correct, Megan? Yay, I got it right, the Manson Water Tower. There's actually a couple of water towers in Manson, and they're not too far away from each other, and both of the water towers have cameras on them. That's looks a little breezy there, isn't it? Megan says it's an earthquake. It's not an earthquake, Megan. It's just blowing. I wonder if somebody's climbing that tower, because normally that tower isn't moving around that much. But you can see by the trees at the bottom of your screen, that's definitely a windy situation there. Good morning, Manson. Good to see you. Beautiful view from there. Camera 3, that looks to be Monument Hill. Is that correct? Monument Hill. Hey, I'm 3 for 3. The sage in the grass is out there. That's what's burning, by the way, down in Mattawa. Mostly sage and mostly grass for the power line fire. Lots of clouds in the greater Quincy area in the Columbia Basin. That's a nice view there. And of course, on a clear day, you can just see forever out there. Oh, great. Now I'm quoting Robert Goulet. Camera 4, we're going to pay a visit to Leavenworth. That's, I'm pretty sure, the Tumwater camera. That's located about 100 feet before you head into the Tumwater Canyon and start driving up towards Winton, through downtown Winton, of course, into Cole's Corner, the 59er Diner, on your way to Lake Wenatchee. That's a beautiful view of Leavenworth. Good morning, Leavenworth. Thanks for starting your day with us here on the NCW Life channel. What a spectacular view that is. And that's an example of how the Sky-Fi system works All of these cameras are up high. They got to be up high, and then you get a dish and they put it on your roof and they point it to any one of our Sky-Fi towers all over north central Washington, even out in the Columbia Basin, so you don't have to have fiber run to your house. You can have high-speed internet without fiber. Give local telecall. Some beautiful views this morning on this Monday. All right, it's just about 6 minutes after the hour from the National Weather Service. That way, if you don't like the weather, you can blame the government. There you go. It's another, as you can see, all of these afternoon highs, every one of them below normal. It's going to be just kind of cool, a little breezy at times. Could see some sprinkles. We had some light sprinkles about an hour and a half ago outside of our studio. So you can see some isolated sprinkles here and there. No significant rain. Outside of that, it's a mixture of clouds and sun. A high of about 84 degrees. That's below normal. Partly cloudy tonight. It's going to be a little breezy at times. Wind, west wind about 8 to 13 miles an hour. Gusts above that at times. 64, as you can see there for the overnight low. Lots of sunshine Tuesday, 85. Wednesday, partly sunny, a little breezy, high of 82. And as you can see, mixture of clouds and sun. Mostly sunny skies once we get to the back half of the week. But temperatures mild but not warm. All of these temperatures are below normal. Again, and the long-term forecast for the rest of July calls for below normal temperatures and above average precipitation. It's more like of a late spring forecast. Now, we did have some sunny warm weather back in May, but it seems like forever ago, and here we are middle of July, and we just can't seem to get going summertime-wise anyway, at least from Mother Nature's perspective. But there you go. There's your forecast from the National Weather Service. All in all, pretty benign. Just a little on the cool side for the middle of July. We're going to take a break, but before we do, we want to thank our friends at Confluence Health for sponsoring this program. Confluence Health, dedicated to providing safe, quality health care for everybody in north central Washington. Kudos to our friends at Confluence Health. Going to take a break. Grab a cup of coffee. Come right on back. I'll have your latest Monday morning news in 1 minute. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live this morning from Studio 42 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life Channel.
When the people you serve are your friends and family, you see the world a bit differently. You understand that your survival depends on the health and strength of your relationships. Your word is your reputation, and that doing the right thing is the only way of life that matters. At Confluence Health, we remain humble. Trust is a gift that is earned, a privilege, an honor. And we remain grateful for the trust you place in our hands.
Hi, I'm Jim Heinlein, agent here at Senior Insurances of North Central Washington, where we help our clients navigate the Medicare world. One of the things we really enjoy doing is teaching our clients about their rights. Like, did you know that if you have a traditional Medicare supplement, you can change that monthly all year long, regardless of prior health conditions? So if you'd like to know more about your options with Medicare, you can visit us at one of our 5 local offices, as well as give us a call at 888-2600.
8 minutes after the hour on this Monday, I am Dan Kuntz. We have overcast skies and 66 degrees, some sun, some clouds, some light sprinkles, and a high today in the lower 80s. Here's your Monday morning news. A Type 3 incident management team has been deployed to the power line fire. This is burning near Mattawa. The fire started at approximately 12:30 yesterday afternoon. It's about 5,000 acres in size. It's burning in grass and sagebrush. Level 1, 2, and 3 evacuations are in place for some residents. The fire is threatening homes, crops, feedlots, and infrastructure. The fire is 0% contained, by the way. No injuries have been reported. The cause of the fire is under investigation. We'll have more on this in the 5 o'clock news tonight. So that's down in Mattawa, but up here in north central Washington, our summer wildfire season is kind of quiet, getting off to a slow start. Cooler and wetter than normal conditions is the reason why. And it looks like these conditions are going to continue at least for the next couple of weeks. This is according to meteorologist Jeremy Wolf at the National Weather Service.
The period of wet weather as of late and the cooler than normal start to July has resulted in the conditions on the landscape moistening up such that the threat for large forest fires, at least in the near term, is fairly low given the current round of wet weather.
Wolf reports in his Inland Northwest Weather blog that temperatures are expected to remain cooler than normal for the next 8 to 14 days, and that reduces, of course, the risk of forest fires, but he cautions we're not out of the woods yet in terms of wildfire risk because drought conditions, the lower elevations, well, they could see some fires.
A lot of the area that can burn around Wenatchee and Chelan and east towards Douglas and into the Columbia Basin is grass and brush fuels, and those can dry out really fast. Those dry out quicker than the timber. So as soon as we get into any stretch of hot, dry weather, the grass will be readily available for burning should we get any fire starts or any significant wind events.
Wolf says southeastern Alaska has seen significant wildfire activity associated with several dry lightning storms over the previous month. Well, improving traffic flows on U.S. Highway 2 between Coles Corner and Cashmere is the purpose of a study currently being undertaken by the Chelan-Douglas Transportation Council. The regional planning organization is working with the City of Leavenworth, Chelan County, the Washington State Department of Transportation, and Lick Transit to study options to improve mobility and safety for all modes of travel along that US 2 corridor. The team has put together some ideas. Now they want your input. At the end of the study, the project team will identify a set of near and long-term improvements for modes of travel. That includes transit, freight, cars, bicyclists, and pedestrians. An online interactive map is available with public comments being accepted until the end of this month. Well, emergency training exercises were held Friday on the campus of Wenatchee Valley College to help the college prepare better for possible emergencies. Our very own Kyle Montgomery was there, and he filed this report.
Wenatchee Valley College and Confluence Health teamed up with first responders today for training exercises and simulations geared toward helping emergency training at the college. The training began at 8 this morning, where participants and actors set up the site for EMS and first responders who would be arriving on the scene later in the morning. The campus then simulated a lockdown where actors were led out of the school by first responders, with those injured in the simulation being transported into EMS vehicles going to Central Washington Hospital. One actor was also transported in a helicopter on the soccer field next to Smith Gymnasium, located a block down from where the simulation took place. The training was held to help better prepare the college for emergency situations and to practice response times of the college and hospital. First responders from cities such as Cashmere, Chelan, and Cascade joined Wenatchee personnel and community volunteer actors to assist in the training and also help practice response procedures. With NCW Life News, I'm Kyle Montgomery.
Thank you, Kyle, for that report. Well, your chance for an outing at the Visitor Center at Rocky Reach Dam is winding down as the fish viewing areas and the museum will soon close for major renovations. The first closure will be October 1st. That's when work will begin on installing new and larger fish viewing windows. Then on October 31st, the Museum of the Columbia will permanently close, with most of its displays moving to the expanded and remodeled Discovery Center. The new and improved Discovery Center will not reopen until the spring of 2021. The Chelan County PUD is spending more than $5 million on the improvements to the Visitor Center, which opened when the dam opened in 1962. Finally this morning, after 3 years, the sister of a missing Wenatchee woman has started a YouTube channel to outline the disappearance of Wenatchee's Jessie Grace Moore. Take a look.
Brittany Moore says her sister suffered from mental health issues and drug abuse throughout her life and recalls the last time she saw Jessie as their family was dropping her off at a detox center.
And she gets out of the car and looks back at me and smiles, and I smiled at her, and then she walked into the detox center, and I remember thinking to myself, like, wow, that was a really nice moment between us. And that was the last time I saw my sister.
Jessie Grace Moore disappeared on June 20th, 2016 from Wenatchee. A witness came forward and said he saw Jessie on June 23rd, 2016, but Brittany says that statement has been recanted.
There is a witness statement saying they saw her get into a late 80s Buick with 2 Hispanic men June 23rd of 2016, but that he actually has come forward and recanted his statement. We don't know why, but all of a sudden now he's like, I didn't see that.
Around the time of her disappearance, Brittany says Jessie was struggling with her mental health and visited Catholic Family Services to talk to a counselor on the day she disappeared. She was last seen at Centennial Park in a video posted to social media with a shaved head, and she left the park walking south on Wenatchee Avenue.
Shaved in her head is the initials or the letters SIC, which we to this day still don't know what that means. My mom has a lot of theories on it. And on the other side of her head, it's like 13 lines, like going straight across her head, which is, I mean, to see that video, it's very hard to watch, you guys. And she starts walking southbound on Wenatchee Avenue in the video, and I'll try to link it, but she starts walking away, and that is the last time anyone saw her.
Jessie's mother appeared on the NCW Life channel last year to promote a fundraiser for the search and answers in her daughter's disappearance, and explained what she believed happened to Jessie.
I believe that foul play is involved. I believe that she has passed away. Okay. And I don't know who's responsible for that, but I know that some of the people that she had been around are not the type of people that you'd want your daughter to be around or anybody else to be around.
Brittany Moore says she plans to continue to upload videos talking about her sister's case to her YouTube channel. There are no current leads in the case, but anyone with information is encouraged to call the anonymous tip line at 509-233-7946. Caitlin Hedersheet, NCW Life News.
Thank you, Kat, for that report. It's 17 minutes after the hour on this Monday. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Still to come, of course, we have sports. The obscure holiday. Today in history, birthdays. Everybody is entitled to Mike McNally's opinion. And my conversation with Misty Viebrock, who runs RiverCom, and the man she replaced, Jim Fossey, will be coming in to talk about, they came in last week. We taped it to talk about, hopefully, a renewal of their current funding apparatus that has a sunset clause that will expire at the end of this year unless the voters continue to fund RiverCom. It'll be a fascinating conversation. It was, and you'll be able to check it out in the back half of the hour. After that, we go back into regular programming, and then coming at 5 o'clock tonight, we got ourselves a newscast. Yeah, the news with Grant Olson, also with the weather. Grant does the weather and the news. He wears two hats. And Eric Granstrom in the sports desk. Yeah, check it out, the news at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. With Grant and Eric, 5, 6, and 10, your three chances to watch the news on TV. You can also watch it on our website because we live stream all the time. Just go to ncwlife.com and click on the live stream icon, and there you go. You can also watch the news on demand, again, by going to our website. And at the bottom of your screen is all the different ways you can get a hold of us via our website. There's a Contact Us icon. You can email us directly, news@ncwlife.com. You can drop us a line via our Facebook page. You can pick up the telephone and give us a call. We even have a Twitter handle. By the way, happy birthday, Twitter. We'll talk about that when we get to today in history. Going to take a break. Coming up next, sports. How did the Apple Sox do over the weekend? Great. How did the Mariners do over the weekend? Sports is 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
I told Miss Nielsen about Simon. He's the best doctor because I like the medicines like he gives me.
He asks like more questions, and that's why I feel like he's more interested in the health. For me, it means a lot. That means he really cares about, about him.
I like you, Simon, and you're my best friend.
Find it all at Wenatchee Valley Mall. There's something for all ages at Wenatchee Valley Mall. No matter what the weather, the kids will have fun in one of the many play areas around the mall. Sign your kids up for fun adventures and super specials when they join the Kids Club. It's a great time for kids and an even better time out for parents. Check out specials and events 24/7 at WenatcheeValleyMall.com. It's your Wenatchee Valley Mall. Come shop today. And we're back here at 7:20 on a Monday. Overcast and 66 degrees. A mixture of clouds and sun, some light sprinkles at times, and highs in the lower 80s. Let's do sports, and what a weekend for the Wenatchee Apple Sox. It began Friday, first of 3 games against the Bellingham Bells at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium. On Friday, Wenatchee led early, then they gave away the lead in the top of the 8th inning. But in the bottom of the 9th, game tied, 2-2, Cody Colden comes to bat.
Hard hit ball to the left between the gap at short and third, but score a run. The 0-1, bunt put down. The Sox are going to try to win it with a suicide squeeze, and they will. Cody Colden, he comes through. It's bobbled by Garcia, and the Sox walk it off. What a win, 3-2 on a thrilling Friday night in Wenatchee.
Yeah, the voice of the Apple Sox, Joel Norman, with the call on the Apple Sox radio network. Wenatchee pulls it off. They win 3-2 on Friday night. Saturday, our crew was there, having a good time. Back and forth battle between the Bells and the Apple Sox. Bellingham led 8-7 in the bottom of the 7th. Wenatchee's Dylan McPhillips comes to the plate.
2-0 the count. Armbruster taps his left foot several times, finds his placement on the mound, and the pitch to the plate swung on with a high fly ball. Center fielder going back, and goal! 3-run home run for the Wenatchee Apple Sox. They win it 10-8. Dylan McPhillips not only put a dent in the defense, he put a dent in that baseball. And the hero tonight, Dylan McPhillips, smallest guy on the field, but the biggest hit of the night. How'd that feel?
Oh, it felt pretty good. You know, I've been struggling a little bit on the last few days swinging the bat, and so 2-0 was just looking for a pitch for me to drive, and got the barrel to it, and good things happen when you swing. So.
One thing that I've noticed for you guys, especially in this run of playing better baseball and getting these wins, is that you answer. When you're giving up some runs, you guys answer right back. How huge is that?
That's huge. If you're constantly answering back, your lead's going to still be minimal for the other team if they have it. So if we're constantly answering back, we're still giving them challenges each inning to try and win the game.
I'm talking with Kyle Custangel. Man, a little bit of everything here tonight. Errors and wild pitches and home runs and everything.
It was. It had everything. I'm sure the fans, they really got a treat. Hopefully they bought some popcorn and probably sold out up there. But no, it was a game that both teams had a shot several times. It seemed like every time we got put in the hole, the guys answered right away. And, we've known Dylan had some home runs in college, and he was about due, and he got one up to dead center, 406, and never looked back after that. So, yeah, what a ball game. What a series. Now get the brooms out tomorrow and hopefully play for a sweep.
It was a lot of fun, and they had a chance for their second series sweep of the season Sunday after that 10-8 win on Saturday night. So what happened in the finale last night? We head back to the voice of the Apple Sox and our friend Joel Norman.
The Apple Sox were victorious with an 8-3 victory over the Bellingham Bells on Sunday night at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium to not only sweep Bellingham, but pick up their 4th consecutive victory as the Apple Sox are starting to look hot out there on the field. They are rolling right now with this victory. Hunter Montgomery finished a triple away from the cycle, driving in 4 runs, including hitting a 6th-inning solo home run for his 3rd of the season. On the mound, Gavin Garrell went 5 1/3, allowed 2 runs, and picked up his 2nd victory. The Sox are hot, and they play a non-league game on Monday night against the U.S. Military All-Star team right here at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium at 6:35. With your Apple Sox update, I'm Joel Norman.
Thank you, Joel. As Joel mentioned, Gavin Garrell combined with 3 relievers to hold Bellingham to just 3 runs on 4 hits. Montgomery ended up 3 for 4 with a home run and 4 RBIs. So Wenatchee continues their stretch of 13 games in 13 days. Non-league game tonight. U.S. Military All-Stars are in town. You can come out and root for the military and root on the Apple Sox for that matter. First pitch tonight, 6:35. Saturday's game featured Marco Gonzalez bobblehead night. It was sponsored by the IBEW, Local 191. Our very own sports director, Eric Granstrom, had a chance to talk to Gonzalez on Saturday afternoon, ask about what he thought about having his very own bobblehead with his former team.
That's pretty incredible. I can't believe it. This is such an honor, and obviously for a place that's so close to my heart, this is very, very cool. I'm very excited.
Now, did you ever think growing up in Fort Collins, Colorado, that you would have a day where you'd have a bobblehead that resembles your head?
I did not. I had no idea that was even a possibility, and I just it seems like quite the journey. Coming from Colorado, like you said, and making my way up to Washington, and Apple Sox taking a chance on me, and it just seems like it was meant to be. It was something that, worked out perfectly, and it was a great fit. I was very happy to play there. I enjoyed my time.
Now, have you seen the bobblehead that they're handing out at the ballpark tonight?
I did. I've seen a couple pictures, and I'm actually pleasantly surprised. It kind of resembles me a little bit. You never know with a bobblehead how it's going to come out, but it looks pretty great, and it brings me back to those old Wenatchee jerseys and all the great memories, obviously.
Any message for Apple Sox fans who are just loving the fact that you're having such success with Seattle and wherever your major league career will go?
Wenatchee will always be very close to my heart. I'll make it back hopefully once a year if I can to say hello and visit with the folks there. And my best wishes to everyone in town, and go Sox.
By the way, Eric's entire interview with Marco Gonzalez is available on our website. It's up and running right now. Check it out at ncwlife.com. By the way, Marco Gonzalez gets his first start after the All-Star break tomorrow night when the Mariners take on Oakland. All right, to the Les Schwab scoreboard we go. The rest of the West Coast League looks something like this. Tavita Gerber and 4 relievers combined in a 5-hit shutout of Kelowna as Corvallis picked up the 5-0 win. Bradley Knight was 2 for 3 with a couple of RBIs and a solo home run for the Knights. Michael Young's 2-run triple highlighted a 5-run 6th inning as Ridgefield erased an early deficit, topped Cowlitz 9-5. Now, they had a rainout Saturday. That means Yakima Valley and Port Angeles had to play 2 7-inning games on Sunday. In the opener, Yakima Valley scored 5 runs in the 4th inning. They won it 5-2. Aiden Welch led the way for the Pippins. He collected 3 hits and 4 at-bats. In the nightcap, it was Dwayne Engelbrandt holding Yakima Valley to 1 run on 7 hits in 5 innings, and the lefties won that one 2-1. In Bend, Nick Adams and Jason Willow homered for Victoria in a 4-run 8th inning to beat the Elks 7-5. And in non-league play, Thomas Rudinsky's solo home run in the bottom of the 5th broke a 3-3 tie. Portland would go on to beat the San Francisco Seals 6-3. So what do the standings look like in the West Coast League's North Division? That's where we are. Victoria is a half game in front of Wenatchee at 6-2. The Sox are 4-2. Port Angeles third, 3-3. Yakima Valley is fourth at 3-4. 2 games back. Bellingham is now 1 for 4 after being swept by Wenatchee, and Kelowna has yet to win a league game in the second half of the season. Matt Tice's first career home run came just at the right time for the Los Angeles Angels. The Angels complete the 3-game weekend sweep of Seattle. The final Sunday, 6-3. Domingo Santana and Austin Nola each had solo home runs in the early going. That gave Seattle a 3-1 lead, but it wouldn't hold. They rarely do anymore, as the Angels scored 2 in the 5th on a bases-loaded walk and a sacrifice fly to tie it. And then Tice untied it in the 8th off Anthony Bass. And there you go. Seattle heads to Oakland to begin a 2-game series with the A's after the day off today. To the American League West we go on Sunday. Jose Altuve's grand slam home run highlighted the 7-run 7th inning for Houston. Astros topped Texas 12-4. Jose Rondon's throwing error in the bottom of the 9th allowed Chad Pinder to score the game winner from first base. Oakland sweeps the White Sox 3-2. And the Wenatchee Valley Skyhawks' their inaugural season in the American West Football Conference ended on Sunday. A playoff loss to Reno. The visitors to the Town Toyota Center knocking off Wenatchee Valley 28-27. The Express will travel to Napa, Idaho to battle the Horsemen for the championship. The Skyhawks, their season comes to an end at 6-7. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Monday. 15th day of July, the obscure holiday is National Give Something Away Day. Give it away. All of a sudden I want to sing the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Most of us, the vast majority of us, have more than we need to live. So National Give Something Away today gives us an opportunity to give something away. Giving is up, by the way. According to Giving USA, apparently these people keep track of these things. There are 9 major categories from arts, culture, humanities, international affairs, human services, giving to foundations. Giving is up. Giving is up all over the place. So organize stuff, get stuff together, say, I don't need this, give it away, give it to somebody who needs it. Volunteer. That's about as easy as it gets. If you have time and you have a skill set, you don't even need a skill set, you just need time to volunteer. It's National Give Something Away Day today. It is the 15th day of July. Let's do today in history. 149 years ago, Civil War was over. July 15th, 1870. Here's what happened. In 1869, all the states of the Confederacy had already been readmitted to the Union. Of course, the rules were you have to pass the 14th and 15th Amendments to the Constitution. If you do that, we'll let you back into the fold. Georgia hadn't done that yet, and it was now 1869. And they didn't ratify the 15th Amendment. It was before the Georgia State Legislature, and they voted it down. So a few weeks later, the U.S. Congress, not real happy with Georgia, they just basically barred Georgia's elected representatives from taking their seats in Congress. They were going to let Georgia back in. And they said, no, not yet. This is in 1860. Civil War was over for 4 or 5 years. So because of this, they reimposed military rule. The military had already left Georgia to pick up the pieces, and they came back in and said, we're going to take over again. And then the military purged the General Assembly of all the leftover Confederates, and all of the Republican runner-ups in the election were eventually seated. A couple weeks later, Georgia ratified the 15th Amendment. Military rule ended, and 5 years after the end of the Civil War, 5 years, Georgia finally became the last of the former Confederate states to be readmitted to the Union. It really is not that hard, Georgia. It took them 5 years to do it. Anyway, they got back into the Union on this date 149 years ago. Happy birthday to the behemoth known as Boeing. 103 years ago today in Seattle, Washington, Boeing was incorporated. Bill Boeing and George Westerfelt. They were the two partners. George, he lasted about 6 months and went back to the East Coast. And William Boeing basically took over. Their original name was Pacific Aero Products. It was renamed Boeing after Boeing took over. Boeing is the largest exporter in the United States by dollar volume. And how much money did Boeing make last year? Net income? $10.4 billion. Not bad. Happy 103rd birthday, Boeing. And happy birthday, Twitter. Twitter is 13 years old. Today, there's the iconic thing. July 15, 2006, Twitter is launched. It is the largest social media platform, or one of the largest in the world. The top 10 Twitter accounts with the most followers. Number 10, Justin Timberlake. Number 9, YouTube. Number 8, Ellen DeGeneres. Number 7, Ronaldo, the soccer legend. Number 6, Lady Gaga. Number 5, Taylor Swift. Number 4, Rihanna. Number 3, Justin Bieber. Number 2, Barack Obama. And the number 1 Twitter account with the most followers, Katy Perry. Happy 13th birthday, Twitter. I have never twitted. Not there yet. Finally, we have a birthday for you. Just one celebrity birthday to pass along to you today. I'm talking about Linda Ronstadt. Oh, man, could she sing. One of the most amazing voices in all of music. Just crystal clear voice. Just incredible. I could listen to Linda Ronstadt sing all day long. Of course, she's fully retired now. She's been retired for about 10 years. She gave her last concert 10 years ago, and she retired a couple of years after that. She has Parkinson's disease, and she can no longer sing, but she's writing books, and she's being as active as she possibly can, and we love her. Linda Ronstadt is 73 years old today. All right, 33 minutes after the hour, Mike Magnotti's opinion is in the can and coming your way, and then my conversation with Misty Viebrock and Jim Fossey talking RiverCom. It's time to pony up some dough and keep RiverCom going. They'd like to do that. It's up to you, the voters. That conversation when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
When you call Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, you get 35 years of experience and customer service in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's friendly staff strongly believe in repairing before replacing and service all major brands of HVAC units. Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning is your local, independent, trained comfort specialists, proudly serving all of North Central Washington. Call 884-6444 today.
Contractors, furniture makers, and weekend do-it-yourselfers around North Central Washington will tell you that Lombard's Hardwood Supply is the place to get what you need. Lombard's full millwork shop can handle jobs large or small. Lombard's has a full line of interior and exterior doors available, as well as custom barn doors. From alderwood to zebrawood and everything in between, it's Lombard's Hardwood Supply on School Street in Sunny Slope. Like us on Facebook and check out our monthly special.
Transform your windows with a variety of colors and styles like the Allure Transitional Window Covering by Lafayette Interior Fashions. Hi, this is Darren with Mini Blinds and More. We can install the latest and greatest in technology to open and close your blinds with only a touch of a button. From the largest windows in your home to room darkening shades for the bedroom. From stylish shades for your entertainment room to custom blinds for those hard-to-fit places. We have a solution for all of your window covering needs. We offer a variety of window coverings from Lafayette Interior Fashions. Call us today. We are Mini Blinds and More, your local blind store.
Here at the YWCA Thrift Store, our mission is to make positive change in the community by giving women and families the tools they need to regain economic stability through work experience and education. Featuring generously donated new and gently used furniture, housewares, clothing, and much more, the YWCA Thrift Store has something for the whole family. Shop, volunteer, or donate with us today.
This is Mike, Mad Dog McNally, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, I really made a decision as a mental health professional and for someone who provides treatment to domestic abuse perpetrators. I'm going to deal with issues of respectful relationships with the adolescent young men who come to me for counseling. Now, I'm going to do this with each one of them. I ask each one of them, what kind of man do you want to be? Someone who respects women and children, who treats them with care and consideration, or something else? Now, of course, they all say they want to be decent, good men, but honestly, we have to help our young men and boys to fully understand what it means to be a decent and respectful man in this society. Yes, we do. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. I've been around the Wenatchee Valley long enough to remember when there wasn't a RiverCom and things were cattywampus when you had an emergency and you needed help right away. And a bunch of folks a long time ago had the wherewithal and the forethought to think, we can do better than this. And everybody got together and RiverCom was born. And now we take RiverCom for granted, but we shouldn't, because when we need RiverCom, RiverCom comes through and they're going to ask your help on the August 6th ballot. And to my immediate left is the new executive director of RiverCom, Misty Viebrock. And to my far left is the guy who used to have the gig, who's now fully retired, Jim Fossey. Welcome to the program, kids.
Thank you very much.
It's good to have you here. We're going to establish the same ground rules that we did last week with Richard DeRock and Dominic Bonney when we talked about the Link Prop 1. The same thing applies here. Misty, in her job as executive director, can give us information on what exactly is going to be on the ballot and why it's on the ballot. And Jim, being fully retired and a private citizen now, can actually promote and hopefully entice you to vote yes on this upcoming initiative. I guess is it an initiative or what is it? That's the official name of it. Proposition. Yep. There you go. Proposition. First of all, before we get into it, how's the new gig working out there, Misty?
It's going great.
Yeah.
I just finished 6 months in the position and had a lot of things on my shoulders, but I'm loving it. It's pretty much everything that I thought it would be, and just really loving the new position.
Was Jim a big help in the transition on that?
He was. I worked as his operations manager for 6 years prior to that, and I really modeled after him and watched his leadership, and he's been the best boss I've ever had, so really appreciated those 6 years.
And you gave folks a long heads up that you were going to be stepping down at this time. It wasn't like I'm out of here in 2 weeks, and so that made the transition easier. But on the other hand, it was probably bringing Misty on board to replace you was probably a no-brainer, right? I mean, it was like...
Well, it at the end of the day, it was a no-brainer. We went through a process that opened it up to really nationwide, and ultimately we interviewed 4 candidates, and Misty came out on top. She did exceedingly well. The board was excited and pleased to offer her the job.
As a member of the media and as a private citizen, I can safely say the folks at RiverCom are top flight professionals. When I'm talking about everybody involved, but specifically the dispatchers. They're good.
They are the heart of what we do,
Yeah.
you know. So they're why we're there, and they run that center, and they're like a well-oiled machine, and they're just fun to watch. And having grown up from the trenches, you know, I did that that job for a lot of years and have a lot of respect for what they do. And you don't forget all the family time that you miss out on, and you don't forget about the long, exhausting overtime hours you're working. So I think that's one thing that I brought with me in this new role is just remembering those important.
I actually took the test. That's a shot of the RiverCom Operations Center. But I actually took it. I couldn't pass the typing. That was the one thing I couldn't do. And I practiced and I practiced and I practiced because I thought I might be pretty good at it. I'm a level-headed person.
Good
I don't get too
voice.
excited.
Good radio
I
voice.
have fairly good communication skills. I thought I might be a pretty good dispatcher, but I couldn't pass the typing test. Try hard as I might.
Yeah, and the typing is very, very important
Yeah.
because as fast as the people talk to us in an emergency, that's how fast you need to type it into your computer. So.
Oh, well. Well, now I have a television show.
That's right.
So they tell me. From an informational standpoint only, Misty, what are we talking about here? What are folks going to be when they get their ballot and they have until August 6th to turn it in? What are we talking about? Give us the broad brush here.
So we're asking for a renewal. This is not a new sales tax. We're not asking for an increase. This tax went out to the voters in August of 2009 and was voted in with pretty high percentages from both counties. It is required to pass in both counties by simple majority. And
but it had a sunset clause.
It did have a sunset clause. And, when we reviewed putting another sunset clause on it, we looked at the forecast down the road for funding that would come in to help with capital expenses, and we just don't foresee it will ever be there. It's very costly to run a measure like this, and it takes a lot of work. And if we saw that there would be some different in funding or a difference in some funding, we certainly would have put a sunset on it. But that's the decision that was made by the board and with user agency input. And so,
are people getting the message out that this is not that this is just we're continuing what we can do, and we want to make some infrastructure changes, obviously, because technology marches on. But are people truly understanding, Jim, that this is not?
I think there is some confusion about whether or not this is a sales and use tax, which is what it is, versus a property tax. And we've seen some comments that people are thinking this is a property tax. It is not. It's a sales and use tax. And the advantage there is the people that come into the county, the high number of people that come to recreate here in Chelan and Douglas County, they also, through their purchases, help pay for that tax. So it's 911 is equal opportunity. Anybody who calls gets the advantage of that system. And so it does make sense that that cost is borne by people who are here recreating and enjoying this area.
You sent me this letter. It's an unbiased. It says you need to vote yes on this from Dr.
Lance Job.
Lance Job, who's a heavy hitter. He knows what he's talking about. And this is going to sound like I'm gilding an obvious lily here, and I'll let you address this, Jim. He basically says in this letter, RiverCom saves lives, period. And people go, of course it does, but he means it in a kind of a slightly different way. RiverCom does save lives.
Absolutely. When I came here in 2013, we were using a methodology that was, it's used across the country. And the problem with it that I saw was the length of time that it took us to recognize that someone needed CPR and to get that going. We made a change and we adopted a King County standard and methodology for asking questions. And our ability to recognize that someone needed CPR and start instructions on CPR, that time dropped dramatically. And as a result, we're now part of that chain of survival that starts with that original phone call and goes all the way into the hospital. And we're seeing really high success rates when compared across the nation. So yes, we are saving lives. RiverCom saving lives because of what they do on that telephone call.
And they know exactly what to do when that call comes in. The dispatchers, they understand the level of the emergency that needs to be taken care of.
They do. Dr. Job, he works with us, and I send him all of our witness cardiac arrest cases. and he listens to those 911 calls and provides quality assurance back to me, and I share it with the call taker who took the call. And he'll give them some pointers of how they could have done a better job if that's the case. But he also lets us know when the person has survived, and we consider a life save when the patient leaves the hospital neurologically intact. So for 2018, Dr. Job just gave us a presentation in our May board meeting, and the national average for life saves is 33% of witness cardiac arrest. And for RiverCom, for Chelan and Douglas counties, we're at 57%.
Good for us.
So we're just really doing a great job, and this is something that unfortunately our citizens aren't aware of because we tend to try to stay out of the paper, but we're going to do a better job of making sure that our citizens know just all the good work that we're doing.
Do you think that the citizens of North Central Washington simply take RiverCom for granted?
I wouldn't say that. I think more just naive, you know. I mean, I was naive before I started this profession of what it looked like, and, there's just so much that goes into it. But we always welcome citizens to come up and take a tour, or if they even want to sit and listen to, sit down and plug in with the dispatcher and listen to and watch what happens, the dynamic that happens on the floor. We're willing to do that. It requires a background check, of course, because we have regulations that we have to meet. But I just think naive. I don't think they take us for granted per se. I just think that they're just really naive to the system.
Yeah. Well, let's get rid of some myths and misconceptions right now. First of all, it passes. Let's draw this. It passes. Does it mean what? Oh, great! We get new coffee makers. It's not what it means. What?
No.
If this proposition passes, it means what to the people?
Well, one of the big items is our radio system. When RiverCom was put together, there was a lot of used parts and pieces cobbled together to make the radio system.
And most of it was analog.
And most of it was analog as opposed to digital. Those old radio parts and pieces were put in things like old shipping containers or concrete block buildings on mountaintop sites. And those just aren't designed for that kind of environment. So over the course of time, we have upgraded a number of our radio sites, but there are a number of those yet to be done. We have one where you can't even turn around inside the shelter. It's so small. We can't put more equipment in there. And as the radio system grows, it requires more equipment. So those are the kind of changes we're going to make. Will they be visible to the public? No, they won't. They're on mountaintop sites. They're very remote. But the result is a better radio system for first responders and thus a better system for the public. So
they got to be able to dispatch wherever that emergency personnel may be, and we have topographical challenges here in North Central Washington.
Absolutely.
We got stuff all over the place, and you got to be able to get who you need to get to when they need to get to. Infrastructure is terribly important, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll also see, or RiverCom being retired, but RiverCom will also see new other equipment. Phone systems have to be upgraded and changed. Computers constantly in a state of change. So there will be a number of things that will keep RiverCom current with equipment that it's not a big expense that they're just saying, well, we have a lot of money and so we're going to spend this money foolishly. Absolutely not. There are just so many projects that are required to just maintain and do some improvement that the money will be spent very wisely and judiciously.
And it cannot, from a technical standpoint, fail, period. With all the redundancies that are built in, it cannot go down for a second.
Everything has to work 24/7, 365. There is no option for take it down for maintenance. Let's just take it down for a day or two and hope that nothing happens.
Yeah, that doesn't work that way. Why would anybody in their right mind vote no on this? Seriously, I mean, what would they be thinking? I don't want to pay new taxes is what they're thinking.
Well,
Maybe it's not a new tax.
I think that's what it is I don't want to pay a new tax, and I'm on board with that. And the advantage here, from my perspective, is this is not a new tax. You've been paying this for 10 years. RiverCom asked 10 years ago for your faith and trust to put this 0.1% tax on sales items. They approved that. I think over the course of 10 years, we've proven to be good stewards of that fund, and so now we're asking renew that.
And let's see, that would mean if I went out and bought $100 worth of something in North Central Washington, 10 cents goes to RiverCom.
Yes.
That's a deal.
That's a deal.
I'd pay more than that if you asked me to. I don't have any problem with that. Other side of the coin, it doesn't pass. Then what? What then? You don't get a new coffee maker, right? Kidding, of course. What if it doesn't pass? And then what next?
In my opinion, if it doesn't pass, the pressure of a $3 million shortfall in our budget each year will land back onto our user agencies, and how they get their funding is through property taxes. And if they should go out for a property tax and that doesn't get approved by the voters, then services are going to have to start being cut. Whether that's employee layoffs or if that's just a deduction to service, that's ultimately how I see it.
Yeah, there will be additional expense too, because obviously RiverCom won't accept that initially, and so the cost of putting out a ballot measure is borne by the agency that's requesting that measure to go out. So there's an expense with that as well. There are a lot of downsides to this because, as Misty said, the agencies would have to start paying more. And their funding comes through property taxes. So that means that programs and things that they're doing are going to have to be curtailed simply to receive that phone call and information about it through the dispatch.
What do you hear from your friends in first responders, fire, police, sheriffs on this whole thing? Obviously, I'm sure they're all 100% we're in. Let's get this going.
They know the impact to them if this does not pass. They've received some funding right off the top that goes to them, to each of the agencies that strictly is for radio improvements, so they can purchase portable radios, mobile radios, anything that really improves radio communications between RiverCom and our responders. So, I think that they've received about $900,000 over the last, they didn't start collecting that funding until the third year after we started collecting, so 2012. But I think they've received a little over $900,000 total for those improvements, and that's a huge piece of money for all of them.
There is no organized group, so to speak, that's saying go out there and vote yes and spending money on this. But there's also, to my knowledge, no organized group out there spending money and say vote no, too, right? I mean,
That's correct.
Yeah.
None that we're aware of.
Right. None that we're aware of. August 6th is a simple majority. That's all it takes. Simple majority. But this may be the most critical point of all. We talked about the sunset clause that was put in 2009 that expires this year, which is why we're back here talking about it. Something very different about this proposal, which is there's no sunset clause in this.
That's correct. And also, just for the listeners, we are one of two agencies who have ever put a sunset clause on this tax, and you'd be hard-pressed to find a county in Washington State that does not have the 0.1% sales tax to fund their 911 center. So, like Jim said, the board and the user agencies back in 2009 just wanted to show that we'd be good stewards of the money, and it was critical at that time to do these radio improvements. It's still critical today, and like Jim said, it's very costly to run this measure.
Yeah. I can say vote yes. Vote yes. How's retirement doing, by the way? What are you doing with yourself?
Well, I've found my way up to Lake Chelan to do a little bit of fishing.
Yeah.
I've also converted a garage into a workshop doing some woodworking.
Good for you.
Enjoying retirement very much.
Good for you. People want more information. People say, I'm going to vote yes, but I want to learn more. Maybe spread the word about getting this passed and getting it done. What do they do? How do they get more information?
I've actually had a couple of citizens call me, which I really appreciate that, because normally they are misinformed or have an idea of how this tax is run. Mostly people are thinking it's property tax, and again, it's not. This is a sales tax. So they can call me. My desk number is 662-4651. They can go to our RiverCom website, which is rivercom911.org. And there's also a there's a citizen who's also affiliated with the fire department who's running a Facebook page in support, and that is Support for RiverCom 911.
Which
supporters of RiverCom 911.
You know, RiverCom, I take RiverCom, the parallel that I draw is RiverCom, law enforcement, fire department, whatever. You don't need RiverCom, and when you do need RiverCom, it's because something bad is going on. Oh, I have an emergency, I have to call RiverCom, and RiverCom does their part, and you should do yours. There, I got on my soapbox. How was that? Is that good?
Thank you.
That's great.
One last thing, Misty, while I have you here, I know you guys are always looking for dispatchers. It takes a certain skill set, which is why I didn't get the gig. And we don't want budget cuts, so you need more dispatchers, not less dispatchers. But if people are out there and they think, I might be pretty good at it, how do they go about?
Well,
getting
it's
involved
interesting
in
that you would bring that up, Dan.
Yeah.
We're looking at an all-time low for our dispatching staffing right now. So we're going to be advertising again. We currently have 5 people in training, 5 new employees in training, and we're down several more positions. So we'll be advertising soon. They can look in Indeed. We advertise there, and we'll be advertising Wenatchee World and other locations. But it requires them to go out to a private testing company called Public Safety Testing, and we will provide a date of where that will be locally and encourage people to apply.
And bone up on your typing skills.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not going to make it. Vote, I can say this. Vote yes on this on August 6th. Okay, I can say that. Jim can say it. Misty thinks it. There. That's the safe way to do it. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you very much.
And enjoy retirement.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
It's always been a dream of mine to own a home. She had credit, I didn't.
And I was like, you know what, let's just go talk and see what we could do to move forward.
We walked into Guild Mortgage. I didn't think home ownership was possible. Tracy had a plan for us. Small things that we could do to establish credit. Honestly, before you knew it, the next step was go home, build your dreams, live happily ever after.
Corey here from Rose Tractor, your local Cub Cadet dealer. We've got the all-new Cub Cadet Ultima zero-turn mowers in stock, and they are awesome. The Ultima is like no other zero-turn you've seen. With a box tube frame and available Kawasaki engine, it has unmatched strength and performance, cutting up to 50% faster than lawn tractors. You have to see the Cub Cadet Ultima to believe it. Come on down and experience the Cub Cadet Ultima today.
At Doghouse Motorsports, we ride what we sell. There's a lot we could say about the CD Spark and the CD GTI, but ultimately, the ride says it all.
Highlander Grill and Golf Course is known as one of the finest wedding venues in the Wenatchee area. You do not have to be a member to come to Highlander. Highlander Golf Course offers a first-class backdrop for your wedding day. Our friendly professional staff will ensure your wedding and reception is picture perfect, from every moment leading up to the I-dos to when the lights go down at the end of your reception. Hi, I'm Shalane, site coordinator for Highlander Grill. Give me a call to schedule your event today.
And welcome back to this Monday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Let's wrap up the program with the weather forecast from the National Weather Service. And our cool below normal weather continues as far as below normal highs. I'm talking about 8 of the last 9 days have seen our high temperatures below normal. The long-term forecast for the rest of this month calls for temperatures below normal and precipitation above normal, and that is the forecast really for the week. All of those highs that you see there are below normal. Our normal high for this time of the year, right around 87 or 88. And it's a friendly reminder, it's the middle of July, and we still have not had a significant stretch at all of sunny and warm weather. It just hasn't panned out. A couple of sprinkles here and there today. Outside of that, a mixture of clouds and sun will top off at 84. Sunshine on Tuesday. A little breezy at times, by the way, on Tuesday and Wednesday. Temperatures, again, in the lower to mid 80s, depending on where you call home. And we'll have quite a bit of sunshine, but again, below normal temperatures right through the week and into the weekend. That's it. Have yourself a great Monday, provided this show isn't canceled. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.